Breaking news just coming in. Idgah hearing in the Supreme Court. The matter has been referred to a 3-judge bench. That's the latest coming in at this point. Tomorrow is Ganesh Chaturthi, and now the Idgah case has been referred to a 3-judge bench. That's what we're picking up at this point. We'll go back to our reporter Anisha Mathur, who's joining us from the Supreme Court in moments from now and explain to us what really happened in the Supreme Court, because clearly right there the Idgah case has now been referred to a 3-judge bench. The latest coming in as far as the Idgah Rao is concerned. We got you both the sides of the argument. We were tracking these developments very closely. The Idgah case now referred to the 3-judge bench. That's the latest coming in from the Supreme Court. Lawyers have sought not to mention case before the CJI as well. That's a big breaking story we're bringing to you at this point. The Idgah case referred to the 3-judge bench. Anisha Mathur now joins us for the very latest. Anisha, what happened there?
Well, Chathi, twists and turns galore in this matter as the lawyers for both sides were arguing. Now, the bench of Justices Hemant, Gupta and Sudhanshu Dhulia has said that we as 2 judges have different opinions. This matter needs to be mentioned before the Chief Justice so that this issue can go before a 3-judge bench. And it is now 10 minutes to 4 p.m. Chathi, and this is a very important, very contentious issue. We'll have to wait and see if the Chief Justice of India, UU Lalit, agrees to list this matter before any other bench. Now, as we speak, this matter is now being mentioned before the Chief Justice of India to be listed before a 3-judge bench immediately. The senior advocates, Dhulia and Kapil Sibal, have rushed from Court 7 to Court 1. And I'm going to ask my camera person to show you behind me. Satya, if you can just show the zoom towards the courtroom here, court premises here. Right behind me is the Supreme Court. Court 7 is towards the back side of the court building. They have rushed from one court to the court number 1, that is just the Chief Justice's court, and immediately requested for a 3-judge bench to hear this matter. The mentioning is going on right now. The Chief Justice, in fact, remarking that logically this issue has to go before 3 judges. The lawyers are saying that the bench has to be constituted immediately. If there is a delay, then the entire issue will be over.
There cannot be a delay as far as this case is concerned, because tomorrow is Ganesh Chaturthi. So any particular time that we know when this matter will come for the hearing before the 3-judge bench?
Well, Chathi, as we speak, the hearing is, the Chief Justice's bench is considering this matter. We are getting minute-by-minute updates on this issue from our reporter Srishti, who's inside the courtroom. Justice Lalit and Justice Ravindra Bhatt. Interestingly enough, by the way, today most of the benches in the Supreme Court have sat as 2-judge benches after 2 p.m. All the miscellaneous matters are being taken up by 2-judge benches. So at the moment, there's not even a conveniently placed 3-judge bench which can suddenly take up this matter in addition to its own court proceedings, its own current matters. So at the moment, the Chief Justice would have to consider this. Now, Chathi, just right now we are getting information that the Chief Justice has said that let me see if any other judge is available. We'll be late by 5-10 minutes. The Chief Justice will take a decision within the next 5 to 10 minutes on which judge is available to sit in a 3-judge bench, because Justice Dhulia, who with the Justice Hemant Gupta was hearing this matter for the last several minutes, he is scheduled to sit in a special bench with the Chief Justice very shortly. And now the Chief Justice is
coming
saying,
in the Idgah case, Supreme Court says consensus between bench could not be established. Liberty to mention before the CJI. I'm reading out the latest updates. Just hold on right there. Matter to be mentioned before CJI for urgent hearing today itself. Senior Advocate Dhulia mentioning Idgah case before CJI Lalit. That is CJI UU Lalit. Matter to be mentioned before CJI for urgent hearing today itself. Dave says government has passed order to let the land be used for Ganesh Chaturthi. Bench has asked which city. Dave says Bengaluru. Sibal says there's judgment from this court. Suddenly in 2022, they wake up and say they want to use the land. CJI says logically it has to go before 3 judges. Councils ask bench to be constituted. Everything will be lost. This case just got over. We requested for status quo, but CJI Lalit and Justice Ravindra Bhatt discussing amongst themselves, and the CJI has asked for papers. So that's the latest coming in. Consensus between bench could not be established. Liberty to mention before CJI. Matter to be mentioned before CJI for urgent hearing today itself. And senior advocate Dushyant Dave mentioning Idgah case before CJI UU Lalit. CJI to consider setting up a bench to hear Idgah case today itself. And Anisha, that makes sense because tomorrow is Ganesh Chaturthi. So obviously the CJI is considering setting up the bench to hear Idgah case today itself. We're still waiting actually in terms of what time this is going to happen. It has to happen at some point today, but we don't really know what time. Those updates are just trickling in as we speak. Anisha.
Well, yes, Chaiti, as we've been speaking, the Chief Justice is taking a decision on this. Chief Justice of India, UU Lalit, has said that let me consult with other judges, let me see who is available to take up this matter, because the three-judge bench will have to be constituted to hear this matter. Within 5 to 10 minutes, Chaiti, we should get an update from the court. The court will pass a direction on which bench will be hearing this matter. Right now, however, the breaking news that we have is that the two judges, Justice Hemant Gupta and Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, who had been hearing this matter for almost an hour now, have said that they are not agreeing with each other on what can be done about the Idgah issue, about this Ganesh Chaturthi celebration dispute, and therefore this matter will now have to be heard by a three-judge bench. There has to be a third judge to act as a tiebreaker. The complication, however, is the fact that it is almost 4 p.m. The Supreme Court timings are about to get over. Even apart from that, most of the benches today are after 2 p.m. have been sitting as two-judge benches, so there is no conveniently placed three-judge bench to suddenly take up this matter. The Chief Justice of India, UU Lalit, now saying he will consult with the other judges and see who is available to take up this matter. Additionally, Justice Dhulia, who's been hearing this matter so far, is also supposed to join Justice Lalit's bench for a special bench matter hearing. So it is a very it is going to be very significant to watch in the next 5 to 10 minutes where this entire issue is going to go, what twist and turn will happen next in this matter. And for the last hour that we've been hearing these arguments, Chaiti, it is a complicated question, made even more so because of the stand being taken by the state government. There are revenue records which say one thing, there are Waqf notifications and Supreme Court orders which say something completely different, and it is the state government now saying that no, the Waqf notification doesn't matter, the court order doesn't matter, our revenue records say it is Sarkari land, therefore we should be allowed to do what we want with it. So it is going to be a very, very crucial question before the court, especially since Ganesh Chaturthi is tomorrow.
You're saying that it's a Sarkari land has been, or the government land has been mentioned by which party?
The state government, Chaiti, the state government for which the Solicitor General had appeared has been arguing that this is Sarkari land, and that is why functions of all religions should be allowed on this particular land. The Idgah Trust, of course, saying that no, this is Waqf land, it was properly notified as a Waqf land, and in 1964 the Supreme Court recognized it as a Waqf land, and that Waqf notification has never been challenged. The Solicitor General trying to shift the argument around, saying that the Waqf notification is something different. The revenue records of the state, the Khata Khatoni records of the state say that this is an open ground which is a Sarkari land. So that is an issue that will also at some point have to be decided by the court.
But Anisha, as far as the Supreme Court is concerned, if the Supreme Court is recognizing this land as Waqf land, should there be even an argument on that front? Sorry, explain this to the layman.
Well, Chaiti, that is where this entire complication, nuance and the government stance comes in. If you see the 1964 order that the Idgah Trust is citing, that order was with regard to now again I'm going into very complicated legal nuances there. That order was with regard to injunction and easement rights, which basically meant that at that time the Idgah Trust said that yes, there is no boundary on this land, yes, children play on this land, and yes, people use this land as a path to go from one side to the other, but we are in possession of this land, we are the owners of this land, and therefore the government cannot build a school or a road on that land, and therefore the government cannot encroach upon part of that land. Now what the state is now saying is that just because that 1964 order was about access and easement and not about ownership, the state is claiming that revenue records, that is the Khata Khatani record of the state government, say that this is part Sarkari land and part graveyard, and that part Sarkari land is Sarkari land, therefore whatever the government wants to do on that land should be allowed. The Idgah Trust says that no, it has been notified by the Waqf board via a valid notification as the Waqf land. It is no longer Sarkari land, and in fact since the 1800s, because it was an Idgah, because it was a graveyard, it has never been Sarkari land, whatever the revenue records may say. So that is where this whole nuance of ownership, possession and easement comes in, because government is now saying that no, for the last 50 years we may have remained,
Anisha, we're coming back to this. We're coming back to this. Today itself, the CJI is going to be considering setting up a bench to hear the Idgah case, and that's the big story we're tracking at this point.